Hey, what's up, guys? It's Bryson from Accident here. I know it's been a hot second since I made a video. I think it's been like a year and a half now. I know. I'm sorry. Gonna try and get back into it. It's kind of been just crazy as of late for band life, all that kind of stuff. But we're here for ranking of some albums. Kiss, my all-time favorite band. The only thing that comes close as second is Alice Cooper, and it's still not necessarily that close. Kiss will just, I think, always have that number one spot. The most important band in my life. I'll go into a little bit more of that towards the end, probably. It's going to be probably a lengthy video. I know not everyone's going to agree with my opinions. It's kind of how the YouTube world works. Not everyone thinks the same thing. So please do not harass me in the comments. I would not like that to happen because I won't be harassing anyone who disagrees with my opinions in this video. But for the most part, I don't think I have that lucrative of opinions on the Kiss albums. You know, I feel like I have very similar opinions. Sometimes I don't, though, with other, Kiss YouTubers and stuff like that. But I'm going to rank all 24 studio albums, so no Alive 1, 2, or 3, or the Millennium Concert, or any compilation albums or anything like that. Just the 24 studio albums that they released, within their 51 years, I guess, would be next year, of their career. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. It's probably most of the videos I've watched of people ranking the Kiss albums is usually the one they say is their least favorite, Crazy Nights. Now, I want to say this before. Every Kiss album, I probably like at least 3 or 4 songs. Maybe 2 on this one. But for the most part, I'm just not very much a Kiss hater. There's a lot of stuff I don't like, don't get me wrong. A lot of filler, I have to say. But I don't know if it's just because favorite band or what, but I can usually even dig the songs people are like, man, that's terrible, or that's awful, or, I can usually dig it. This album, not so much. I mean, the cover, Paul's wearing like a thong on the back. Not a great time for the band. And the production of this album is just not great. Like, it's crazy, I wasn't there, but, 80s albums were so heavily produced. Like, one of my least favorite albums ever is, Hysteria, Def Leppard. Most overproduced album I've ever heard. And then this came out same year, 87, 86, I think, Hysteria, maybe 87. I don't know. I only like the first 3 Def Leppard albums. But same year, it's just terrible. It just sounds like demos, kind of like Hot in the Shade, which we'll get to. But, there's some good songs. The title track is as cheesy in 80s as it is. I actually do like that song a lot. I love the guitar riff. No, 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 good solo from Bruce. Reason to Live, good cheesy 80s ballad. Other than that, I don't think I hate any of the songs that much except for Bang Bang You and, My Way. Those songs are terrible. But, Good Girl Gone Bad, Turn on the Night, Thief in the Night. They're not terrible songs. Thief in the Night is much better as a Wendy Williams song, in my opinion. But, yeah, last place, number 24, Crazy Nights. Not one I put on a lot. Just don't have any interest, really. Number 23, Gene Simmons solo album. This album, I feel like, had the most potential to be the best solo album because, Gene was the face of Kiss, in the 70s. But as I'm looking at this track list, man, Radioactive, amazing song. If this album was all Radioactives, it'd be much higher, But, man, See You Tonight, great ballad. Living in Sin's alright. Mr. Make Believe, I actually really like that song. Probably my favorite track on this album. And then, Wish Upon a Star is not great. Yeah, just a hair better than Crazy Nights, Alright, 22 is Carnival of Souls. I'm going to get a lot of slack for putting this one so low. I don't gravitate towards this album, I love Childhood's End is probably my top 10 favorite Kiss songs. Like, I love that song. But, man, it's just like I look at this cover, man, this is not my Kiss, I love the non-makeup stuff, too. It's just like, they all got beards and all that kind of stuff, man. There's some good songs, but just a lot of filler. Like, Rain's a great song. Never Goes Away, Seduction of the Innocent, I Confess. But, man, it's really not one I put on that often. And it's a long album, too, so it's, like, very much in the filler category. Alright, I think we're on 21. The Peter Criss solo album. Now, this album, the ballads save it. Like, You Matter to Me and Easy Thing, Kiss the Girl Goodbye, I Can't Stop the Rain. Beyond that, I could care less about this album. But the ballads are so great. I love them. Yeah, but, you know, you got such garbage as, you know, Don't Let Me Down, Don't You Let Me Down, and that's the kind of sugar Papa likes, garbage. But the ballads are amazing on that album. All right, number 20, Hot in the Shade. I don't hate this album as much as other people do. Now, granted, Read My Body is the second worst Kiss song of all time. We'll get to the worst one in a couple albums, in my opinion. But, you know, Rise to, it's not bad. Betrayed is great. Hide Your Heart's a great song. Forever's a good ballad. Silver Spoon's alright. Cadillac Dreams, I'm impartial. I don't hate that song. Street Giveth, Street Taketh Away. No, I don't think that one's terrible either. And Boomerang's a great song too. I'm not gonna say great, actually. It's a pretty okay song. It's just a boring cover too, and like, I don't know. I'm a very visual guy when it comes to music and albums, so it's got to be there. That's why I love Kiss so much, but sometimes it's not there. 19 is the only one I don't have on vinyl. Sonic Boom. I'm gonna get probably a little bit of slack for putting this one as high as I did, even though it's almost at the bottom. I don't hate this album. You know, Tommy Thayer pretending to be Ace. Yes, I know. There's some terrible songs on here. Do not get me wrong. You know, All for the Glory is one of the worst Kiss songs I've ever heard. The song's terrible. Dangerous is not that great. But there's some good. Stan's not that good either. But there's some good ones. Modern Day Delilah's not terrible. I actually kind of like Never Enough. Hot and Cold's not terrible, I don't think. I'm an Animal, When Lightning Strikes. Pretty okay song. Say Yeah is a good song too. It's a pretty catchy number. But yeah, not one I hate as much as others, but yeah, not an amazing album. 18, we got The Elder. I'm not a big concept album guy in certain realms. Like, I love Alice Cooper, obviously, but like Pink Floyd, I'm not really a Pink Floyd guy and all that stuff. This album I don't mind. I hate this is an original press of it. I hate the track list. It's, you know, it's not really in order, even though it is on the back, kind of. You know, when you listen to it, it's not really in order. Or maybe I'm thinking of the CD. One of the copies of this I have is not in order. I'm pretty sure it's this. But you know, Just a Boy, I dig that song. Odyssey, Only You, Under the Rose, a great song. Dark Light's a good one. World Without Heroes, The Oath, Mr. Blackwell is a good song. I love I. It's a great song. We're kind of getting into territory where like I don't hate necessarily like most of the songs on this. Like, I genuinely like most of them, or even the ones I don't like, I kind of can withstand to listen to for, you know, 3-4 minutes, however long the songs are. 17, Monster, 2013. Right, 2013. Yeah. Pretty solid album. You know, I actually dig most of the songs on here. I think the only song I don't like on here is All for Love, Rock and Roll, not my favorite. But, you know, Wall of Sound's a great song. Freak is a great song. You could kind of see the cracks starting to show with Paul's voice and stuff, you know. Same with Sonic Boom. I didn't even mention that, but, you know, it was showing. Back to Stone Age, I like that song. Yeah, most of these songs I dig, but, you know, I don't think it's as stellar content as, you know, their best stuff. 16. Sorry, I got a little notebook down here with the numbers. I have all the albums in order already. I'm just trying to get the numbers right so, you know, I don't catch myself up. 16, Psycho Circus with the lenticular cover. I haven't watched this back yet, obviously, but I hope the light's not killing, like, the glare on these. Like, I hope you can actually see what I'm holding up. Because I'm not going to refilm this if not. But, I dig this album for the most part, you know. It's very, you know, not actually the 4 originals, you know. But, you know, we've dealt with it in other regards, so why judge this one for that, you know? Psycho Circus, great track, great opening track. With Ends, great. Pledge Allegiance, Into the Void's a great track. We Are One, I love that song. It's a really great one. You Want It the Best is pretty good. Raise Your Glass is alright. Finally Found My Way is, in my humble opinion, the worst Kiss song ever made. Ever made. Terrible song. Dreamin's alright. Dream of a Thousand Years is pretty cool too. It's a very different album, you know. When I first heard it, it was actually one of the first Kiss albums I ever heard. I was really concerned by, because, you know, kind of grungy 90s, you know, sound, and I was like, But, you know, with normal Kiss lyrics, but, you know, more feedback in the guitars and more, you know, Dream of a Thousand Years was like, you know, reaching into, like, you know, power metal territories and, like, storytelling and stuff, but not a bad album by any means. And that's another thing I want to say. I'm obviously, you know, giving my opinions on these albums. Do I think I can make an album as good as Psycho Circus? In my opinion, maybe, but in your opinion, not. So, who am I to judge? I'm who to judge, you know? But, we got 15 Unmasked. Once again, not a terrible album. Not super stellar. Production on this one's not great either. Naked City, I love that song. I think the only song off here I don't really dig is You're All That I Want. Other than that, you know, Talk to Me, Torpedo Girl, She's European. Sometimes I'm in the mood for it. But the keyboard, I feel like if this song was recorded without the keyboard, much more listenable. But, you know, we got that little synth keyboard thing. Is That You's a great song. Great song. A cover, of course. But, yeah, not a terrible album. I really love the album cover, even though, you know, Peter Criss did not play on this. But as you'll see, that's not the first time he was on the cover. They did not play an album of. Next up, 14 is Asylum. Just probably, you know, you know. There's some great tracks, great drumming from Eric Carr, of course. You know, King of the Mountain, Who Wants to Be Lonely. Tears Are Falling is one of my favorite Kiss songs ever. Radar of Love, All Night, as stupid as it is. It's a great song. I love stupid songs. But, you know, you got some filler. Secretly Cruel, I'm Alive, Trial by Fire. Some filler, but, you know, it's pretty good filler, you know. Next up, we got 13, Animalize. I do dig 90% of this album, I would say. The only songs I'm not really for are, like, Burn Bitch Burn. Sorry, I got a price tag covering this up. Murder in High Heel. The Gene songs really in this song just don't hit me, but you know, the Paul songs are great. I've Had Enough Into Fire, Heaven's on Fire, Get All You Can Take, Under the Gun, Thrills in the Night. You know, Paul's songs on this are amazing. Gene's, not so much. Next up, this one might give me a little slack for putting it, you know, middle ground, but 12, Creatures of the Night. One of my favorite album covers for sure, but to me, there's filler on here, you know. Some people might not agree with that, but you know, to me, you know, Saints, Sinners kind of, Dangers kind of, Killers kind of, but the other songs are absolutely amazing, and it's one of my favorite produced Kiss albums. You know, the production on this, Eric Carr's drums sound absolutely massive, sound great through most speakers, unless you have crappy speakers, and it probably still sounds better too. Alright, next up, got Revenge, at 11. I dig this album a lot. This is also one of the first Kiss albums I ever heard. Unholy was, I think, probably within the top 5 Kiss songs I heard, like, you know, first time hearing. I think the only songs I get a lot of slack, you know, you don't like Heart of Chrome? I don't really dig Heart of Chrome. Like, I don't hate it by any means, you know, but yeah, you know, Every Time I Look at You is cheesy, but I like it. Paralyzed is a great song. Unholy, of course. Take It Off, Tough Love, Spit. God Gave Rock and Roll to You, probably my top 5 favorite Kiss songs ever. Domino. I used to like Domino a lot, but as I've kind of, you know, matured a little bit, I've kind of seen Domino as a little silly, you know. Of course that's what it is, but, you know, Thou Shalt Not's a great song, too. Alright. We're getting into the top 10 here. Top 10, Destroyer. This album used to be my favorite. Before I probably heard everything. But I've kind of, you know, since matured a little bit. Not too much, though. But I do love this album. I think the only song I don't dig is Sweet Pain, which I know a lot of people love that song. I don't hate the song, but it's just, even the first time I heard it, I literally listened to this album like an hour ago, and it just still, it's not hitting me. Maybe one day it will, but it has my favorite Kiss song of all time, Do You Love Me? To me, that song has not been matched. I don't know what it is. It's just this specific, you know, the recording of it, the attitude, the everything. I just love Do You Love Me? My favorite Kiss song of all time, and the album itself is only at number 10, so you know how much I love everything else, too. Number 9, Dynasty. To me, I never had a disdain for this album like a lot of people. Like, a lot of people were like, oh, I hate this album. And then I came back around to it, and I realized it was good. I've always loved this album. The only song I don't like is Dirty Livin'. One of my least favorite Kiss songs ever. I just don't dig it. But, you know, Charisma, great song. Hard Times, a great song. I Was Made for Loving You, of course. Magic Touch, probably one of my favorite Paul songs ever. Save Your Love, Sure Knows Something, X-Ray Eyes, and, of course, the Stones cover, 2000 Man. great album at number 9. We got, let me make sure I get this right. All right, 8, we got Paul Stanley. Great album. I know a lot of people really don't care for this album, but I absolutely love it. Paul is probably, see, I don't want to say Paul is my favorite because he makes an ass of himself 24/7 nowadays. But back in the days, probably when I wasn't here yet, you know, he was badass. And that's the Paul I wish I could have lived with for a little bit. But, you know, he's a star child, you know. But Tonight You Belong to Me, amazing intro song. Move On, Ain't Quite Right, Wouldn't You Like to Know Me is one of my, not even just my favorite Kiss song, but one of my favorite Kiss songs. I'm sorry. One of my favorite songs, there we go, ever. Like, I absolutely love that song. It's Alright. Hold Me, Touch Me, probably my least favorite song, but I still like it. Love in Chains and Goodbye, great album. And then next we got, no surprise, 7, Ace Frehley's solo album. I know, you know, like Ralph from Almost Human, he puts this at number 1. I love this album, but I love just all these albums before it a little bit more. I'm not an instrumental guy. I know it's kind of hearsay. I'm a guitar player and stuff, but I love Fractured Mirror. But you know, I can't say every time I listen to it I don't lift up the needle up. Maybe, you know. I don't know. I'm just not a big instrumental guy. Like I'm not a big Orion guy. Granted, I don't think these are bad songs. I just prefer a little more. I don't prefer long. I mean, I don't like long instrumentals. If they're like quick, short ones, like Escape from the Island, that's a pretty good one. Fractured Mirror is pretty good too. But you know. What are you gonna do? You know, Rip It Out, Speed Back to My Baby, Snowblind, Ozone, What's on Your Mind. What's on Your Mind is probably my favorite song off here. New York Groove, I'm in Need of Love, and Wiped Out. Amazing album. For sure. My biggest guitar influence of all time. Ace Frehley. We got up next 6, look it up. The first Kiss album I ever bought. I found it at a pawn shop after a guitar lesson one time. And I was very happy. Because at this point I'd only really known, you know, Turok City and Rock Roll Night. Then I heard this, and it was pretty interesting, you know, hearing this one. This was the first Kiss album I ever listened to all the way through, you know, and it was nothing like the other stuff. I just have I feel like a good emotional connection to this because it was my first one. But the songs are kick-ass. The only song I don't really care for is the title track. I still dig it, but you know, it's not anything that I get too excited about. You know, Exciter, amazing intro track, one of the best Kiss intros. Not for the Innocent, amazing song. Young and Wasted, Give Me More, All Hell's Breaking Loose, Million to One, Fits Like a Glove, Dance All Your Face. And on the 8th day, I'd probably say my favorite song would be Not for the Innocent or Exciter. It's hard to pick. Or Million to One. Very hard to pick. Next up, Love Gun at number 5. We're in the top 5, guys. Absolutely stellar album. This one was my favorite for the longest time. And it just slowly worked its way down as I grew more connected to the top 4. But I think this album has the greatest intro track on a Kiss album, I Still Your Love. And the first Kiss song, the first Kiss song I ever heard was I Was Made for Loving You. But the first one I ever heard, I was just like, I gotta listen to this band, was Love Gun. So I got a great connection there. Shock Me, probably one of the most important songs in my life, you know. Because that song, you know, of course I was a big fan of Paul, you know, he played and sang, but lead guitar player and sing really wasn't a thing that early on in my music listening. You know, now I see, you know, Tom Kiefer and all these other guys that do it. But it was kind of a big deal because, you know, I was always a lead guitar player, but I always wanted to sing too. So, you know, it was a big deal when I first heard Shock Me. I was like, whoa, you can do both. I think the only song off here I don't really like is Got Love for Sale. Don't really dig that one. And that's probably why it's worked its way down to 5, just because I don't really care for that song. But actually, you know, I like Then She Kissed Me, Hooligan. Plaster Caster is one of my favorite Kiss songs ever. Tomorrow and Tonight, Christine 16, Almost Human. Amazing album for sure. All right, and now we're in the top 4. All right. Literally just took this one off the needle. Dressed to Kill. I know my copy is absolutely terrible. I know. I need to upgrade it, but the disc is actually pretty nice. So I've kept it around that long just because. This is like an embossed, you know, cover one. Original 70s press. Amazing album. Top to start. Absolutely incredible. I don't think there's a filler track on here. All the songs are great. I love short albums. I think this album is under, I think it's less than 35 minutes. I love short albums. So this is always a good listen if I just need something quick to hold me over or something. I always put this one on. Room Service, amazing intro song. Two Timer, probably my favorite song off here. Rock Bottom, you know. Love Her All I Can, Rock and Roll All Night, Come On and Love Me, Anything for My Baby. Amazing songs for sure. She, of course. And I saw Ralph, not to bring him back up again, on Almost Human. He said, Coming Home off Hotter Than Hell should be on Dressed to Kill, and She should be on on Hotter Than Hell for the production differences. I could not agree more. I think that would have been an incredible idea. Speaking of number 3, Hotter Than Hell, 1974. Sorry, I almost said 3. Absolutely stellar album. I think, you know, the first 3 albums are Kiss at their peak, creativity-wise. As you'll see through this this top 4. I guess this is the third one, yes. Not a terrible song on here. I think the only one that I don't dig the most is Mainline. I don't absolutely adore that song. I don't hate it by any means. But, you know, Hotter Than Hell, Coming Home, All the Way, Parasite, of course. Absolutely stellar songs on this one all around. Got to Choose, Let Me Go Rock and Roll, prefer the live one, but, you know, most of the songs I do prefer the live one. Strange Ways, how could I forget Strange Ways? The top 2, guys. All right. I'm going to have you guys make your predictions now. Keep them in your head. Number 2, the debut album. This, I do actually, here, I'll pull it out real quick since we're right here. Oh, yeah, this is new. I got my new shelf of records. I used to do videos in front of my Kiss cutout. I'm a big Kiss fan, if you couldn't tell. Here's my copy of the very first press with no Kissin' Time on it. But I'm not counting that one just because I listen to the one with Kissin' Time more. Not that I adore that song by any means, but it's just easier to grab. And I listen to the CD of it pretty often, so. And that, of course, has Kissin' Time on it. Absolutely stellar album. Not many bands knock it out of the park first try. Kiss sure did. Like I said, probably I would say Kissin' Time or Love Theme from Kiss are my least favorite, but I feel like that's usually pretty common amongst Kiss fans. But, you know, Strutter. Oh my gosh, I love Strutter. Deuce, Nothing to Lose, Cold Gin, me and my band Accident. We have done that song, I think, at every single show we've ever done. Very important song to us. Black Diamond, you know, amazing song. 100,000 Years, not a bad song on here. And then, if you have been keeping track of what album I haven't said yet, my favorite Kiss album of all time, Rock and Roll Over. To me, there's just, you know, maybe in a year things will change, but right now this is my favorite. Can't get enough of this album. Just probably my favorite Kiss cover too, you know, just no matter how you look at it. Amazing piece here. You know, intro, I Want You, amazing intro track. Making Love, Take Me, I Want You, like I already said. Calling Dr. Love, Baby Driver. Ladies Room, Mr. Speed, probably my favorite song off here, Mr. Speed. See You in Your Dreams, Love 'Em, Leave 'Em, Hard Luck Woman. Absolutely incredible album from the hottest band in the world. Now time for my little, like, spiel. What I think of Kiss right now, I know a lot of people hate Kiss. They wrote them off, you know, 20 years ago. For the farewell tour 24 years ago. I wasn't here. First time I saw Kiss was on the End of the Road tour back in 2019, and I've seen them 4 times on that tour alone, with the last one being 2 days ago in Baltimore, 3rd to last show ever. And this is going up on December 2nd, 2023, the last Kiss show, Madison Square Garden. We'll see how dated this video is. I really hope they're done. I feel like they've done enough to their image to harm it. I feel like it's finally time to just call it. So this is obviously the only Kiss I've known live, and of course I'm not gonna not go see my favorite band of all time any chance I could. Even with Tommy and Eric, I don't have any disdain for Tommy and Eric, because if they didn't do it, someone else would have. That's just the reality of it. A lot of people, you know, hate Tommy and Eric. I don't hate them. Like if I were, you know, 10 years older or something than I am right now, and Kiss called me and like, hey dude, we need you, I'd be putting the Spaceman makeup on immediately, and I would sound probably just much like Ace as Tommy does, because Ace is my single biggest guitar influence. Kiss is just my biggest influence, every realm of everything, in the songwriting and the actual show that my band tries to put on. We don't wear face paint or anything, but you know, half of it was face paint, half of it was just how lively they were. Like, you cannot watch a Kiss show from, I'd say, before the 90s where they weren't constantly just moving and running around and jumping. Just so much energy, so much, like, you know, passion for what they were doing. I mean, like, I bought this Thunderbird, I can never remember which one. Thunderbird's the bass, this is Firebird. I bought this, you know, Paul Stanley played him in the early 70s. I'm a Les Paul guy because of Ace. I got a Gene Axe bass just off camera here. The most important band in my life. and I feel like they will continue to be even after they are all said and done. Which, like I said, I hope is finally. I think it's time for them to finally and just enjoy themselves. Now, will they continue to make asses of themselves? Of course, Gene's been making an ass of himself since they took the makeup off. That's what it is. You know, favorite band of all time, but I can sure pick out when they've done stupid things. Same with bands I hate. I can pick out when they've done good things. You know, it's the same thing. I feel like a lot of Kiss fans lose that. They're like, it's like no one hates Kiss fans. No one hates Kiss more than Kiss fans. You know, which is a sad reality. But you know, with Paul playing the tapes, allegedly, it's not so alleged. It's kind of. I feel like it is finally time for them to, you know, hang it up. When I saw them 3 days ago, they were struggling. But you know, they are Kiss. They are the hottest band in the world, and I think they'll have that legacy of the '70s and the '80s and stuff. You know, the '70s more so. Just that's what they'll be remembered for, is the high energy, you know, face paint warriors of rock and roll, and that's how I like. In my mind, that's how they're remembered. But I'm actually gonna watch the pay-per-view. I'm not buying it. I wasn't gonna, but one of my buddies is getting it, so I was just like, I'll watch it. You know. Sure, when they announced the third time's the charm tour, as everyone else is saying it, you know, third strike and you're out tour. But I think that's it. I'm going to try and post more on this channel. It's just been very hectic. Life's been crazy. My band, we just recorded a full length. We just got back from my phone just like shut off. We just got back from California, opening for Dangerous Toys. Let me show you that album real quick. That's what I did in the original video, but it cut off. But, you know, they signed up my album, one of my favorite bands of all time. I need to make a video just on this album because I love it that much. Just on their entire discography, really. But yeah, so I'm going to try and post more. So we'll see how that goes. But thanks, guys, for watching. Might see you next time. We'll see.